talking about some of the enduring principles of our founding fathers, who in response to monarchy, in response to King George, set out to frame a new construct to elevate and support individual freedom, liberty. They created a system of checks and balances, a separation of power, co-equal branches of government. Framework took the best of Greek democracy and the Roman Republic, and it has stood the test of time. Donald Trump has tested the limits of that and has done so consistently. But today's order makes clear that he is not above or beyond constitutional constraints. Constitution sets forth limits. The president is a constitutional officer. The President of the United States works under the Constitution. And so we are very gratified by this decision. His section that he asserted the authority to overrule the objections of a state governor, clearly in the 36-page order, those cornerstones that he claimed or asserted were not met. Section 12-406, clearly there's no invasion, there's no rebellion. It's absurd.
Okay, think about it this way. The Founding Fathers, with quill pens in hand, wrote the Constitution declaring, "We will never have a king again." These men rebelled against George, King George, who imposed tax after tax and didn't give a damn about his own people. Then hundreds of years pass, and we get Donald Trump. So this guy thinks he's some kind of chosen king. He doesn't recognize the decisions of state governors. He just tosses the Constitution aside, and then he stands up and says, "But I'm the president." No way. With today's ruling, the court officially said, "Buddy, you didn't find the magic wand. This country still has rules." And no, Section 12-406 or whatever. There's no rebellion, no invasion. He's living out his own Game of Thrones in his head, but reality doesn't work that way. And you know what's funny? This guy only remembers the Constitution when it suits him. The rest? Fake news. Now I'm going to ask you a serious question. If even our own citizens cannot be protected by the Constitution, who can we trust? Do you think ICE's actions are justified, or are they outright discrimination? Write your comments. I read them all. Don't forget to like this video, because your support is essential for spreading awareness about these issues. And if you're still not subscribed, come on, did we go through all this for nothing? Subscribe, let's talk together, let's resist together.
And so we're gratified. Today is a big day for the Constitution of the United States, for our democracy. And I hope it's the beginning of a new day in this country where we push back against overreach. We push back against these authoritarian tendencies of a president that has pushed the boundaries, pushed the limit, but no longer can push this state around any longer. A lot of rhetoric from Pete Hegseth, that's his name, that they've quote-unquote been deployed, but it doesn't appear they have been, but they were making you believe that. And so I think the judge was waiting for the evidence that they actually have been deployed into Los Angeles, which they appear not to be. Of course, they're not coordinating with anybody on this. So he's just waiting for that evidence. Obviously, they moved to another location for training exercises. But there's the bottom line. The police do policing. Military, it's for the battlefield. The idea that these unbelievably brave young men and women that I work with, that we have had the benefit of their extraordinary contribution all across this state. I gave you 3 examples. What more evidence do we need of the work they did during the wildfires in Los Angeles and all the work they did to secure locations and keep property and personal lives safe over the course of the last few months? These folks are now being commandeered to do ICE raids. You've seen the photographs. That ends tomorrow at noon.
So now, today is a big day for the Constitution, a turning point for democracy. Nice words. I agree. But at the same time, I want to ask, how did we get to this point? Because one president pushed the boundaries so far that he went off the map. Trump's administration gave a masterclass in the I did it era. He is officially allergic to constitutional boundaries. Coordination with governors? Come on. Are we going to deploy military units onto the streets? Of course, without consulting anyone, without showing any documents, and then saying, but they went to Los Angeles, and backing down. It's like a joke, using the military like police. This is the handbook of authoritarianism. These people have undergone combat training. They've fought fires and disasters. What are they doing now? They're being sent to ICE raids. Is this what American freedom is? Is this service to the people? They're turning the whole country into a reality show and waiting for the twist in the final episode. No, friend, we'll write the finale of this series. Did you say by noon tomorrow? Goodbye.
And Governor Walz, I just have to say, I know you're getting a lot of grief from the majority here, but, you know, we are talking about individuals who have cheered on an individual who issued a Nazi salute from behind the presidential seal of the United States of America, who have cheered on the pardoning of individuals who attacked the United States Capitol and flew a Nazi flag and the flag of the Confederacy, traitors to the United States, sworn enemies of the United States of America, through the capital of this nation. And now they want to act offended because someone has the courage to say, if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, maybe it's a duck. So I want to thank you for not wavering to their bullying, which is unconscionable and sad to see. So I just wanted to let you know that, Governor. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
To the three of you, Governor Walz, Governor Pritzker, and Governor Hochul, you three have each sworn an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, correct? I'll start with you.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I have.
And I imagine that also includes the Fourth and Fifth Amendment protections for due process and the rule of law.
It does.
Sure does.
Yes.
And that means protecting your people.
So now it's time to say this out loud. The supporters of a man who gives the Nazi salute and is applauded cannot lecture us on patriotism, friends. Excuse me, but the crowd that applauds a president who pardons people who attacked the Capitol, waved the Confederate flag and carried Nazi rags, and then comes out today and cries, "But we just want to ensure security," makes me think, if you believe that, honestly, if you buy it. And when someone points out this absurdity, they start with the "they're calling everyone a fascist" routine. But as they say, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, maybe it is a duck, brother. As for the governors, yes, they swore an oath of loyalty to this Constitution. And that's not just about placing your hand on the flag and saying, "Yes, ma'am." You're obligated to protect your people from authoritarian impulses. If ICE is violating its own laws, if the Constitution is just a piece of paper, then what are we defending? Is this the land of the free? No, this has turned into a rehearsal for a police state. Look, this isn't just a Trump issue, it's a systemic issue. And if we remain silent about this system, there's no telling who will be next. So if this video has inspired you to take action, press like and let your voice be heard. Subscribe, because here we're not just talking about the news, we're talking about the truth.
We have the detention of a U.S. citizen who has been detained by immigration officials. We have ICE here that has also blamed and arrested U.S. citizens for being simply suspected of being an immigrant largely because of their appearance. In January, a Chicago-based U.S.-born citizen, Julio Noriega, was arrested by ICE and held in custody for over 10 hours. In April, a Florida Highway Patrol officer pulled over Juan Carlos Lopez Gomez, a United States-born citizen, and arrested him on suspicion of being in the country illegally. He had his real ID, his Social Security card, his mother presented his birth certificate, and they still didn't let him go. In May, U.S. citizen Leonardo Garcia Venegas was filming an ICE raid. He was arrested by ICE. In May, a veteran and U.S. citizen who is Puerto Rican, was detained during an ICE raid at his workplace in New York City. That's called a paper bag test. And your job, Governor Hochul, is to protect people from that kind of infringement, correct?
Yes.
Because all of us must adhere to the law, and no one is above it. So if a U.S. citizen tries to break the law, or if an ICE officer tries to break the law, your job is to uphold the law, correct?
We absolutely uphold the laws of the United States Constitution and the Constitution of the state of New York.
And sanctuary states are about U.S. citizens as well, having sanctuary against the attacks on our constitutional rights from illegal search and seizure. There is nothing preventing ICE from issuing a warrant and you having complete compliance with their request. Correct, Governor Hochul?
We comply in cases where there's been criminal activity alleged. Yes, we always do. But we're not involved in civil immigration enforcement because our state police that I control have to deal with other crimes that they're solving.
And apologies, I just have 10 seconds left. But when they say illegal versus legal immigration, they are trying to end legal status in the United States as well. Correct, Governor Pritzker, with the end of TPS and making people undocumented by removing legal status, ending legal status, and then having the audacity to call them illegal when they were here documented, correct?
So someone explain this to me. If U.S.-born citizens are being detained in their own country simply because they look like immigrants, is this still America? The place where freedom is touted and liberty and justice for all is sworn? Think about it. Julian Noriega, a U.S. citizen, is being taken away by ICE. Juan Carlos, with his real ID, Social Security card, and his mother's birth certificate in hand, is still being arrested. What's going on here? It's like the paper bag test from the apartheid era. Are people being treated differently under the law based on the color of their skin? And then they have the nerve to say, but we're just fighting illegal immigration. Brother, you're the one breaking the law. These people are already legal. You're making them illegal, then labeling them illegal immigrants. This is outright systematic discrimination. And yes, governors don't have to bow down to this nonsense. Sanctuary doesn't just protect immigrants. It protects this country's constitution. And it's not ICE officials who threaten it. It's the arbitrary system they've created.